Good morning, hello and welcome to Money Control's live stream. You're watching a fresh edition of Opening Bell with me, Lovisha Darad. Well, we've had 5 straight days of bull run. Even today, the GIFT Nifty is pointing to a mildly positive start. If you look at the pre-open rates, that is also showing a good start to the Indian markets. So there is some sense of positive momentum which could be continuing in today's trading session as well. Now, if you look at the global handover, that is largely mixed. The US markets that retreated from its record high levels. Investors will be watching out cues from tonight's November jobs report. That will provide a larger picture of how the US economy is performing and what the future rate cut path could be as well. Jerome Powell had indicated that the US economy is on a strong footing. So yes, we will be watching out for today's November jobs report as well. Asia Pacific markets, they were mixed today this morning. Investors will be watching out how the political developments will unfold both in South Korea as well as France. South Korea impeachment calls coming in for the president. So yes, we will be watching out developments on that front as well. But yes, the big headline to watch out today is of course the RBI's policy outcome. While we are not expecting a repo rate cuts this time, but the market is still hoping for some liquidity infusion measures that is expected to kick in. So yes, lots of cues. We will be discussing what the stocks would be in focus, Canara Bank, Garden Reach, among many others. So lots more lined up. Don't forget to post your stock related queries on our live feed and we will try to address them before 9:30 am with our market expert. But first things first, let's quickly take a look at the top headlines this hour. Wall Street record rally pauses ahead of today's November jobs report data. The Dow Jones falls over 250 points while Nasdaq and S&P 500 correct 0.2%. Asian markets trade mixed after a cautious session on Wall Street. The GIFT Nifty is suggesting a higher start for the Indian markets. Crude prices remain range-bound as OPEC decides to delay production increase till March. Gold prices dip as US 10-year Treasury yields are on the rise. Growth and inflation concerns on the agenda ahead of the RBI's policy decision today. The street is expecting no repo rate cut this meeting but is mixed on the need for a CRR cut. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will begin the pre-budget consultations today. Meetings with eminent economists are scheduled for today while she will meet Farmers Association and stakeholders from the MSME sector tomorrow. All right, a quick recap of yesterday's trading session. Well, it is safe to say that the markets were on a roller coaster ride yesterday, but it did manage to settle with the percent gains. If you look at Sensex settled above that 81,750 levels, while the Nifty managed to end above that 24,700 levels. So yes, above that 24,700 levels, that doors have opened up for the Nifty's further up move to 25,000. But at this point, there would be some certainty because any big rally that we've been seeing is being quickly sold into by traders as well. So yes, we'll be watching out developments on that front. But yes, the star performers yesterday with the IT stocks, Nifty IT index particularly hit fresh all-time highs. Apart from that, we saw auto as well as the financial stocks that also fared quite well. Bank Nifty particularly, that is now less than 900 points away to reclaim its all-time high level. So yes, so we'll be watching out for that development as well. Majority of the rate-sensitive stocks will be in focus today amid the RBI's policy outcome. As I mentioned, no repo rate cuts are being seen by the street, but yes, the liquidity measures like the hopes of a CRR cut is on the table because that is needed to support the faltering growth. Remember, we had the second quarter GDP growth which fell lowest in 7 quarters, and even the inflation, for that matter, has breached past that RBI's tolerance band. So the need to support India's growth story and the growth picture going ahead has dialed up on the street. So yes, so all the rate-sensitive stocks, be it banks, autos, real estate, all of them will be keenly tracked in today's trading session. Moving on, let's look at some of the key figures that would set the tone of today's trade. First up on your screen is the option cues data. The Nifty put-call ratio that rose to 1.24 levels from 1.14 levels in the previous session. So there is some sense of optimism which is expected to continue for the markets. Second on the screen is your F&O ban list that had no new addition, but of course the stocks that have been retained include the likes of Granules India and Manappuram Finance. Stocks which came out of the F&O ban, that includes your RBL Bank. And finally on your screen is the fund flows data. Well, once again we can see that the FIIs continue to buy strong. Third straight day of buying. So yesterday they bought about the stocks worth 8,500 crore rupees in the cash markets. DIIs, however, they have sold the stocks, which is worth about 2,300 crore rupees in the cash markets. So yes, we will be watching out developments on that front as well. Now, just a couple of minutes before we hit the opening bell, pre-open rates are pointing out to a good start on the markets. But on that note, let's quickly get on board with our technical expert of the show, Raja Venkatraman of NeoTrader. Raja, good morning. Let me ask, we are seeing fifth straight day of gains. Now, Nifty above that 24,700. You expect 25,000 today?
Yeah, good morning, Lovisha. Thank you for inviting me to the show. So, the way the markets have been behaving over the last 2 days, we have witnessed quite a bit of volatility. Yesterday, too, we managed to reach almost towards 24,900. And yes, it did give us a sense of optimism, but then soon it was curtailed by the sharp reaction to the downside. So, it's clearly said that there is a lot of call writing happening at higher levels, clearly indicating that it has been a buy on dip and sell on rally market. Now, overall scenario of the market continues to be on the optimistic side, largely driven by the event of today, which is the RBI policy. So overall, if you see, there is a sense of optimism, but then what I would say is that it would need a lot of nerve to hold on to your existing position, participating in the market, and then go ahead and booking some profits as well. So what really happened yesterday was people who were participating and did not book profits, they are expecting that today will be a turnaround day, and we will expect the market to scale higher. But then what one should clearly understand is that yes, the market did get out of its the bank nifty especially did get out of its comfort zone, and it has moved up. So one of the major reasons have been that SDFC Bank was leading the cause. Now it has been joined by ICICI Bank as well. So that really has given a lot of legs for the bank nifty. And like I mentioned in the last week, IT was the number one index to lead the markets higher. The second was bank nifty, and third was nifty. So now what we are seeing is that a continued buying by the FI on a day-to-day basis over the last 3 days have clearly indicated that FIs are playing this market very smartly. Last 2 months, we had some declines, and then towards the end of November, the mood has changed towards the buy side. So, in this scenario, what one needs to understand is that we are reaching some important resistance zones, and today event would be a key area to watch out for. So, on the upside, with around 25,000 being a call writing area and also 54,000 being a call writing area, I would wager a caution here. Rather, wait for the policy to come out. Let's find out whether are we going to get a rate cut. So nobody is factoring a repo rate, but then everyone is factoring a CRR rate. So that is all our theories and our conclusions at the moment. Now, how it will turn out is something which we'll have to see at 10. Then post that is when one should actually be participating. But then overall, looking at the markets is set for a steady start till 10 a.m.
All right. Raja, as you rightly pointed out of the bank nifty that, majority of the HDFC Bank and banking counters have been participating in the recent session. It's like 864 points away from its all-time high levels. Do we expect it to, reclaim its all-time high levels this month?
Yeah, definitely. HDFC Bank has definitely turned around for the good. So 1800 was a key level to watch out for. And now with that level being surpassed, it's definitely a very positive sign for HDFC Bank. And with HDFC Bank being the major contributor of Bank Nifty, that has helped the cause. Movement from SBI has helped the cause. So HDFC Bank, SBI, and ICICI, they have helped Bank Nifty stage a strong recovery from the 52,000 levels, and that has really put the Bank Nifty in full throttle.
Okay. Raja, how does the PSU stand right now? Because we're seeing about 20 to 30% correction from the highs. Are they looking attractive anymore?
Yeah, PSU banks would depend on what kind of are we going to get some kind of rate cut today, and yes, it will not be, it will be negative for the banks, but PSU banks may tend to benefit And from the PSU banks, SBI has already given some move. So I would definitely look at Canara Bank. Canara Bank is also having some news flows today. So combined with the news flows, the price action could give us some good trading action in Canara Bank.
All right. Just less than 1 second. First rates coming on your screen in just like less than a second or so. Let's see how the how the Sensex and Nifty, both of them perform, because we were hoping for a good start for the Indian markets as well. Where Nifty above that 24,700 levels, hoping mildly in the green, definitely flat in the green, but we'll see whether or not this momentum builds up, because we have the RBI outcome, which is less than an hour from here on. And let's see, like Sensex is also open mildly in the green, Nifty, both of them, flat in the trade right now. But Sensex still above that 81,700 odd levels, whereas the Nifty is above that 24,600 levels. If we look at some of the sectoral indices, how they are performing at this particular juncture, we can see a little bit of a swing in the trade here. Volatile, there is a bit of a performance and a little bit of an underperformance as well. Nifty Bank Index, let's look at some of the rate sensitive sectors, how they are performing ahead of the RBI's policy outcome. Bank Nifty Index, that is down about flat in the green, flat in the red right now. And let's look at how the Nifty Auto Index is performing, up about flat in the green at this particular juncture. Now let's look at how the Realty Index. Realty Index, no change as of now, right now. But we'll see how it actually builds up later in the session. India Wix, that is spiked up about 1%, and it is at that 14 odd levels. Yesterday it was trading at 15, but it had cooled off later on in the second half of the session. Right now it is up about 1%, trading about that, nearly testing about that 15 odd levels as well. If you look at the broader end of the markets, your mid cap and small cap indices, the small caps have been performing well, up about 0.1%, but both of them mildly in the green. Once again, very range bound trade, flat at this particular point of time. Let's look at some of the top Nifty gainers and losers. On the top Nifty gainers, we have the likes of Trent, Bajaj Auto, ITC, and ICICI Bank, Hero Motor Corp. Bajaj Auto, of course, after 2 days of decline, it has gained up momentum. It is up about 0.8%. Trend is also doing well. Yesterday also it did well, so up about 1% in today's trading session. ITC has perked up. Definitely, it has shrugged off the news of GST tax hike that came 2-3 days back, and up about 0.6%. ICICI Bank also doing well ahead of the RBI's policy outcome. Let's look at some of the top losers on the Nifty 50. TCS, after yesterday's Nifty IT had notched its fresh all-time high. It's seeing a bit of a profit booking, down about 0.6%. L&T not doing well, 0.4% down. Tata Motors, SBI, HDFC Bank, both of them dominating on the top Nifty 50 losers pack. But Raja, Zomato and Swiggy, that have perked up in trade in recent days. How do they look on the charts? Can we expect a further upside from here on?
Yeah, so Zomato has been in demand after hitting some fresh lows in the month of November. Now, the key thing is that its inclusion in the FNO segment has added some color to the entire stock as well. Along with that, the new listings do not have any old baggages, and they are finding some very good attention. Like yesterday, BSE Angel One, KPIT Tech, which was actually way down, has found some sterling recovery as after being included in the FNO space, which clearly says that more participation is being witnessed. So, considering the way Zomato is showing some traction, and it's clearly broken out above the 280 zones, and the overall participation and the entire space, the QSR space in which it's participating, it's clearly indicating that there is a strong demand in the stock, and those who were participating in the cash segment are now going forward and also looking at this the future segment as well. So what is happening is that the continuous participation is now leading to steady demand on every dip. So one should look to be trading the stock as well as investing the stock, and I see a target of 320 within the next 1 month.
Okay, 320 within the next month for Zomato. Let's take some stocks in focus. Garden Reach, that stock is doing well in today's trading session after the company signed contract for construction and delivery of second 7500 deadweight tonnage multi-purpose vehicle in a series of 4 additional vessels. Raja, how does Garden Reach look like? Because as a stock, it has come off nearly 40% from its record highs. Do you find the valuations attractive at this juncture?
Yeah. So the defense sector, especially the entire space was stalled due to the election, and now with the directive to, go ahead and increase the capital goods spending, the defense spending. So what has happened is now there is again an interest which has generated in these kind of sectors. Now the stock of GRSE has always found traction amongst the retail participants, and post the correction, what has happened is that the stock has come into some decent set of support zones. And from here on, the buying which has emerged at lower levels clearly indicates that yes, this was a stock that was actively tracked. And at lower levels, there have been buyers who are coming into it. So yes, it's a good time to get into this stock. And one can look at higher levels in the coming months.
All right, higher levels in the coming months expected. Let's take another stock in focus. We also have a viewer query by Naveen asking the views on Canara Bank. Well, the lender has received RBI's nod to divest its stake in Canara Robeco, AMC, Canara, HDFC Life via the IPO route. Raja, past 6 months, the stock hasn't really performed well, but some uptick visible in recent days. Do you believe that this uptick is temporary or can we see further upside?
Yeah, see, amongst the PSU banks, some of the banks that have always found notable attention from the participants are Bank of Baroda, Canara Bank, and SBI. Now, when you're talking about Canara Bank, the news of divestment always gives a very good picture of some focus which has been brought in back into the company, and the kind of moves what we can expect in this particular stock does seems promising. Now, with more focus on the banking and with the possibility of the rate cut also emerging, maybe not, if not today, then maybe in the coming policies. So this stock could be a good price point to buy into. And if you observe the price traction, the price has moved really well in the last 2 years. And now the recent dip which we have seen has not been very damaging, unlike the other candidates. So I would say that Canara Bank is definitely a good bet here. And one should consider investing at the current levels because it shows a promise of moving towards 130 to 140 within the next 6 months.
130, the next target you're eyeing for. Let's move to another viewer query. Srivardhan Gupta is asking the views on Suraj Estates for a very short term, especially around the levels of 700 because he has positions at 550 odd levels. 550 odd levels, he's seeing quite a bit of a profit at this point of time because it is hovering around at 700 odd levels. Today also the stock is doing well because of the subsidiary that has bagged some land in Bombay. Raja, where do you see the stock to go from here on? Do you see any further upside from here on?
Yeah, so the real estate space, as the real estate has really shown some good momentum here, and especially in 2024, the housing sales have gone up quite a bit, and that is clearly indicating of the fact that the real estate has once again shown a very good traction here. So now with the real estate sector showing some steady traction, so now the likes of Oberoi, DLF, all those counters sometimes maybe far reaching. So what happens is that you can actually shift your focus to some other counters from the real estate space, and that is what has brought about Phoenix Mill, Prestige Estate, Suraj Estate. So these are counters where people are going in as an alternative to get into the real estate segment. Now with the real estate segment also being bolstered by it's a rate sensitive counter. Now with the RBI coming into play and with more pressure on RBI to cut the rate. So all these things will influence this sector per se. So I feel that this sector could be on radar for the next year also. And the stocks which were languishing are now showing some promise. So one should definitely look at this counter because this counter looks to go much up from here. Yes, again, like Canara Bank, this stock had shown a minimal pullback. So any stock that shows minimal pullback is an indication that there have been some light profit booking only due to the current market scenario. The people who got shaken, they exited, but then you can see here that this particular stock is still having more steam yet.
Okay, more steam likely for Suraj Estates. Let's move on to another viewer query. He's asking the view on Hudco, another housing finance sector. He's holding the quantity of 2,000 shares at 240 rupees per share, and he's asking whether or not he can expect the short-term target of 260 rupees. Raja, it is he's holding at 240, and the stock is hovering around the 242 odd level. So flat kind of gains. What can he expect? He's asking whether or not he can expect the target of 260.
Yeah, definitely you can expect a target of 260. Like I said, that with the government initiative of expanding the housing projects, so we can see that there is going to be continued traction emerging in this counter. This counter got the flip from the government initiative, and once again you can see the all the stall projects are going to get started. So Hutco will definitely be in the urban housing project. So you can understand that this stock is going to get some fresh momentum here. It's also been included in the FNO space. So all these factors are going to combine and fuel the momentum. So your target of 260 is not too far off, and you can continue to hold this stock.
All right, continue to hold this stock. I hope you got your query answered. Let's move on to another viewer query. He's asking the view on Power Grid. Indraneel Banerjee is asking the view on Power Grid. What do you think about Power Grid? Because after the September peaks, 1-year high, the stock has been quite range bound, Raja. What can we eye next? Can we expect a certain outperformance in the next upcoming sessions?
Yeah, this particular counter has just been languishing over the last few months. Now, the key here is that we are in the power space, and the power sector is one of the most active sectors as far as the government initiatives are concerned. And now, with the promise of and ensuring that power across the country, so power grid is playing a very important role in that area. Now, with a lot of projects being awarded by the government, I'm sure that the power grid counter is going to start moving in the next few weeks. So if you are going to look at the whole scenario, and if you're going to look at this particular counter, which is languishing but not giving up, so there is a lot of difference between stocks that have given up the highs. So the counters which we have been discussing are not giving up the highs. So which is a clear sign that there is a genuine buying interest here. People are holding on to this stock, and over the next few weeks, you will start seeing some traction emerging from here. So it's a hold from my side.
Okay, hold from your side. Let's move to another viewer query. Jose is asking on the views on Bajaj Auto. Bajaj Auto, Raja, we saw some reports that had emerged saying that the company has cut two of its bikes prices, Pulsar and of course Freedom 125. But Bajaj Auto did come out with a report saying that they've refuted such claims. How does it look on the charts? We saw 2 straight days of fall. Today the stock has perked up and it is up about 2% in trade. What are your views? What is the next upcoming sessions? What does it hold for Bajaj Auto?
Yeah, so Bajaj Auto recently has been receiving some downgrades, and they have also been subjected to some intense selling pressure. So the kind of momentum which we are witnessing, and the auto sales number are also not gearing up. So which clearly indicates that there is some bit of pressure here, and at the moment, I would look to wait and find out what is the kind of positive traction emerging here, and then I would participate. If you are looking to participate in a two-wheeler space, you could look at the likes of TVS Motors, which seems to be a better bet amongst Bajaj, Hero, and TVS. So TVS is a better bet. So Bajaj Auto and TVS, I would go for TVS Motors as a buy from the auto space on the two-wheeler side.
Okay, TVS Motors is better placed at this point of time. Let's move to another viewer query, Raja. The query is coming in from Mahinder Singh. He's asking, what are your views on ITC for the next 6 months? ITC, the stock has been doing fairly okay today in today's trade, up about 1%. The stock did come under the radar after the GST tax hike news and reports claiming that there could be some GST tax hikes up to like 35% on tobacco and tobacco related products. What does the near term hold? What does the 6 months hold for ITC?
Yeah, so ITC has definitely been impacted marginally by the GST impact, but then it did manage to shrug off the impact, and it is trying to recover from here. But then the FMCG sector itself has been under the weather, and many of the FMCG biggies have been unable to really step up the ladder, unlike the other spaces. So now we'll have to wait and watch in ITC, because the overall outlook of ITC continues to be a buy. But then there are better names from the other sectors which one can participate in, because ITC has been a buyer's interest for a very long time. But then it is time to change that paradigm, because there are many other stocks that are showing some activity. So it's better to shift focus into those segments.
Okay, all right. Let's take another stock in focus. We also have a viewer query. Yash Sampath has been asking the view on Vari Energies. Well, the stock has come into focus after the company did receive an approval from the National Accreditation Board for testing its photovoltaic module testing labs in Gujarat facility. Raja, well, a recently listed stock, but the stock has corrected about 30% from its peaks. What do you expect? What does the near-term horizon hold for Vari Energies?
Yeah, this stock had a blockbuster listing, and its story continues to be on a blockbuster road. And the sector which it is participating in, yes, the EV. So the EV theme has gained popularity. People have started accepting EV as a way of life, and that's the reason why all the stocks that are under the EV bracket are getting some traction. So the first thing is that there should be a buy-in, and there is a buy-in emerging in this theme. So this stock also is showing some strong promise. So overall, larger time frame suggests that this stock can continue to move on. So if you are an investor here, you should continue to hold on. It shows more promise to the upside, and there is no reason for exiting at the moment.
Okay, no reason for exiting at the moment. Well, we had a query from Jaiwant Nalawade. He's asking the views on Glenmark Life Science. Glenmark Life Science, how does it look on the charts? Because after the September highs, the stock from 1200 to 1000, it has come off. What is the near-term hold? Can we expect any outperformance from here on?
Yeah, this particular stock, after being taken over by Nirma, has shown some bit of movement here, though the name says Glenmark. The management is of a different nature. So the current trajectory which we are seeing right now on the high time frame chart suggests that there has been some hesitation to move higher. So this hesitation can only be resolved if we get a closing above 1150. So 1150 is a critical level to watch out for in Glenmark Life Science. Though it is competing in the pharma space, it is not able to show that traction which the other pharma stocks have shown. So it's a wait and watch right now. I would wait for crossing above 1150, closing above 1150 on a weekly time frame. At the end of the week, you can say, will give more legs to the upside, and we can see levels of around 2000 also within the next 1 year. So it's a setup is promising, but at the current juncture, there is some bit of hesitation here. So maybe some news flow is under development, which is not visible at the moment.
Okay, 2000 levels also could be possible for the stock. Let's move on to another viewer query. Manish is asking the views on Lupin. Lupin, how does the stock hold? Because, you know, from September to October, all of those months, the stock has been quite range bound. It did have, the Pune unit did receive some observations from the US FDA regulator as well. What is the near-term hold, Raja, for Lupin?
Yeah, Lupin post around 6 months back, when it got its approvals, it did show a very good traction, and it moved by nearly 800 points. After that, crossing the 2000 mark, the stock had slipped into some consolidation, and there is nothing much more than that, because pharma, considering as a safe haven, people started participating in it at lower levels. So the likes of Lupin, Glenmark, Sun Pharma, Oro Pharma, all these stocks are being bought at into lower levels. So the dips which have been seen in this stock are good opportunities to buy, and these are some names which I will be tracking in the coming weeks, because we can expect some movement in the pharma space in the coming days.
All right. Let's move on to another viewer query. We have Karan Kamath asking the views on M&M. M&M as a stock, what do you believe, Raja? Because the stock has been doing well from the past 1 month as well as from the past 6 months as well. Can we expect a further bullish momentum to continue from here on?
Yeah, so M&M has done remarkably well, and post crossing 3000, the stock has shown some good promise. And with its continued foray into the EV theme, with its presence globally, and making a mark in US as well. So it has got a wide foray of activities, and that's what making M&M a very strong contender in the auto space, who can be next best to Tata Motors. So I would feel that amongst all the auto four-wheeler companies, I find that M&M to be a good prospect, and it should continue to move higher. So I would be a strong believer in M&M, and one can expect a good trading action in the coming days.
All right. Just one last question before we let you go, Raja. That is, what are your trading picks at this point of time? We're seeing a bit of a market recovery, though it is there is some volatility in the markets. But what is your good buys?
Yeah, I would like to go with Titan, considering the sharp declines and the momentum which we are seeing, renewed momentum which we are seeing in Titan. I would look to go for a revival buy here in Titan at current levels with a stop at 3400 for a target towards 3525. And I would like to go with a buy in TCS. After a long time, the IT major is showing some promise, and I would like to buy it at current levels with a stop at 4400, and for a target of 4550.
All right. Thank you so much, Raja. Thank you for taking out time and answering our viewer queries so patiently. We hope that we connect with you soon.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a quick check of the markets right now, how the market holds. Well, Sensex and Nifty, both of them have come off from its opening highs, and Sensex is down about 43 points, flat in the red, below that 81,750 odd levels, whereas Nifty is also below that 24,700 mark. If you look at some of the sectors which is doing well, that includes the likes of Bank Nifty, Auto Index, and then you have your FMCG which is doing well. Metal indices are also performing well, up about 0.4%. India Wix, however, if you look at India Wix, that is quite interesting because that has spiked up about 2% at this point of time. Mid cap and small cap indices flat in the green. So I think markets are waiting and watching what the RBI's policy outcome is going to be. Less than 30 minutes away we are before the governor addresses us and tells us what the repo rate stance is going to be. But with that, we have come to an end of this edition of the Opening Bell. We do have the RBI policy meeting in just like less than 30 minutes or so. So we do have a specially curated show post the outcome to decode the intricacies of what the policy means for you as an investor. But until then, signing off, do stay tuned to moneycontrol.com for all the news updates and market insights.